The Hunt for Red October is another classic movie that I recommend. It's set in the 90s, I believe, so the modern day where there's sort of a Cold War going on between Russia and the United States, where there's tensions. It's not really explicitly threatened that something's going on, but if there's a world war that was about to break out, it was set to be between those two superpowers. And start with the CIA, people in the Pentagon, I believe, all getting flustered because the Russians have, like, their whole navy is getting ready to sail out into the ocean. They've never seen such a thing before. They thought it might be an exercise, but the Russians haven't said we're doing an exercise. The Americans know that there's something up with the Russians, and they start reacting accordingly. And there's been a presentation made with what they know of, and it's been presented by a CIA analyst, Jack Ryan. And Jack gives a presentation as to the, I think, Joint Chiefs, that the very high-ranking American military, and saying that we know the commander of the submarine, that was a new submarine especially built. It's got something we're not quite sure what knows what's going on, but we do know that the submarine has many nuclear missiles on it, and this is a sort of weapon that was designed to start a world war, because it could approach the United States undetected, and it could launch missiles onto America before the American countermeasures were able to react. And during the Cold War, they would have several of their us as well. They've got the nuclear silos in the ground, they've got the strategic command bombers, and they've also got, the Americans would have their own nuclear submarines. And they thought that we could be a few days away from war. The Russians later say to the Americans that the Russian commander has gone insane, effectively, and that he intends to launch the missiles of his own accord and threatening the United States. And the Americans are getting their own navy ready to start hunting the ship down. The captain of the Russian sub is Marko Ramius, and I think I said Jack Ryan was the CIA analyst, but and that's played by Sean Connery. And Jack Ryan's in this briefing, and he starts putting pieces of the puzzle together, where he has recognised what's going on. He's also identified that Marko has sailed his ship on his daughter's birthday, and he is of the belief that the Marko Ramius wants to bring his ship to America and defect. He wants to, as if he wants to stop being a Russian on the Russian side, and wants to now live in America. And something that's made this all worse is that the submarine he's on is the first of its type. It's has a new type of propulsion mechanism in it that makes it entirely undetectable. So this is making it much harder for the Americans to detect the submarine, especially once it engages the new device. But the American hierarchy believes that gives Jack the chance to prove his theory that he intends to defect, but otherwise says, well, if we're not sure, then eventually we're going to have to sink him. And we then follow Jack as he finds one of the submarines has been behaving, one of the American submarines has been behaving a bit weird. It's off searching for something by itself. He believes that he's found the Red October, and Jack has to find a way to get out to the submarine and see if he can talk to and confirm whether he was right. And Marko and Ramius and some of his crew intend to defect to America, and if so, he can eventually prevent World War III. And I won't say any more than that, but it's a movie I do recommend, and it's certainly one of the classics I've got in my library.